Hello, welcome to week 1 of our lab where we're talking about crayons, markers, chalk, oil pastels, and pencils. I am standing in the lab. Now, if we were in person, what you would do is you would go around to all of these different stations or centers in the lab, and you would get to experience crayons and markers and pencils and oil pastels and all of these things in lots of different ways. Since we are not going to be in lab this week, then I want to give you a quick overview of all of the things that I need for you to do in order to get your credit as if you are in lab. So you will notice when you go to your coursework, you want to go to the coursework tab. And then go to crayons, markers, chalk, oil pastels, and pencils. You want to go to the lab 1. On there, you're going to see a couple of different things. First is the PowerPoint. So I want for you to just read through that PowerPoint. And then you're going to see that Christine has 4 lecture videos. I would like for you to watch all 4 of those videos, please. And then I want you to take a minute to scroll through and look closely at each picture that she has. Those are photos of what you see on the lab tables. Those are the things, the activities that you would be experiencing if you were in the lab in person today. So we are going to try to mirror those activities at home. I have added a Google link to my site to give you an idea of what is expected for you to add to your site. So while we can't mirror all of the activities that you would do in lab at home, I understand that oil pastels is probably something that a lot of us don't have. We may not have watercolor crayons at home. Those are pretty specific items. Who knows? Maybe you're an artist and you do, and that is amazing. But if not, I want you to be able to complete this lab with items that you most likely have around the house. Now, if you absolutely do not have any of these items and you cannot complete this lab, please plan to stay after next week so that you have time to complete this lab after class. If you are a very late lab, then you're going to need to come before class. Don't worry, I will post those times in this announcement. So you'll be able to see when would be appropriate for you to stay if you do not have items at home and you need to be able to get the work done for this lab. So let's say that you do have items at home. We are learning with crayons, markers, chalk, oil pastels, and pencils. So I need for you to pick 3 of those things, maybe markers, pencils, and crayons, or maybe chalk, crayons, and colored pencils, or maybe chalk, crayons, and just regular number 2 pencil, that's the gray that writes gray, or maybe you have oil pastels, and maybe you can use chalk but add water to it to make it watercolor. So I need for you to choose 3 different types of materials to use, and your choices are crayons, markers, chalk. You can also add water to the chalk to make it watercolor for an extra type of item, oil pastels, or pencils. So that's 5 different types that you have to choose from. I want you to choose 3 of those types. Now, do you have your 3 types in mind of things you're going to work with? Okay, so with those 3 types of materials that you have in mind, I want you to look again at those pictures. So scroll down and look at those pictures of the different activities that you would be doing in lab with those items. So, for example, one of the labs has a center set up where you will draw a selfie. So it's got mirrors for students to be able to look at, and they would use crayons to draw a picture of themselves. They would draw a self-portrait. So that might be one of your activities. You're going to need to do 5 activities. Now, if you have 3 types of items and 5 activities, 2 of those activities are going to be repeats, right? So I might have students, if I'm doing something with crayons, I might have students do a self-portrait where they draw a self-portrait with crayons. And then I might have them do a rubbing where we use household items like this, which is just something that came from a kitchen. We might put a piece of paper on top and then rub the crayon. Let's see if I can do it. And it's working. I just rub the crayon. All right, so this self-portrait is an activity that I did with crayons, and then a rubbing is an activity that I did with crayons. Now I need to use some other types of something. Maybe I'm gonna have students practice drawing lines with markers. Maybe I'm going to have students practice drawing what they see. I give them something intricate. In your lab, you have a seashell, but maybe a rock, or maybe something from outside, like a tree or a leaf or a branch, and they practice drawing what they see. This time, they are going to use chalk. So I have an activity with crayons, self-portrait. I have another activity using crayons, the rubbings. I have an activity where they're going to use markers. I have an activity where they're going to use chalk. And then I might do another activity where they're going to use markers again. So 5 different types of activities and 3 different types of mediums, or something that you're going to use: the pencil, the crayon, oil pastel, colored pencil, markers. So once I have my activities done, then I'm going to add them to my website. You're going to see another video where I'm showing you step by step on how to do this, and I'm going to build my website and have you, you can build yours along with me if you want. So as you're building your website, a couple of things. You need to take those 5 activities and place your photo of those 5 activities on your website. For each activity, you should have a book that goes along with the activity and the NC filled goal that goes along with the activity. So far on our website, we're going to have 5 photos of our different activities that we did. Each one is going to have a book and an NC filled goal. Our second activity has a book, NC filled goal, book, NC filled goal. All of our activities have a book and an NC filled goal to go along with them. Why are we doing this? This is so that later, when you go back and you say, oh my gosh, I learned some really cool things in 151, but I can't remember what it all was. You can go back and look at these at your website, and you can remember what the activities were. And this is going to allow you to be able to put those activities into your classroom. And you already have a book that goes with it and your NC filled goal. So the final thing that you're going to do is on the coursework page, when you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see 3 pieces of chart paper. And the chart papers say, write discoveries children make while engaging with these materials. Give best practices and tips for facilitating exploration with these materials. And vocab related to this lab. On your Google site, you're going to answer each of those 3 questions. So on your Google site, you're going to have your 5 photos with the different activities, a book, an objective, NC filled objective to go with each, and then you're going to have a list of, or discussion about discoveries that children make while engaging with these materials. You're going to tell us best practices and tips for facilitating exploration with these materials, and you're going to have vocabulary related to this lab. Once those are done, go to the assignment, and I want for you to submit the link to your 151A page, and I will grade it for you. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email or a text.